Alright. Hello everybody. Alright, so um we are now continuing with Brics Part 13. Alright. Alright, so we're right here. Let's get into the moderate cooperation, MTC, and regular military exercises. So military exchanges began in the 1990s and has basically continued and even become stronger. So, especially this all began when Russia was experiencing severe economic hardships, because this is kind of like when supposedly the Soviet Union fell, but I kind of question that. I think the Soviet Union falling was a charade, because who came into power? Putin. What's Putin? KGB, which was like the SS for Hitler, basically. That was how the KGB was like Russia's SS in a way. So, but let's read here. So most of it began in 92 when they signed an agreement um, for arms sales. And then Vladimir Putin's ascension to power in 2000 put a start to a complete overhaul of Russia's arms export agencies and supervisory bodies. Blah, blah, blah. In the mid 2000s, technology transfers and joint ventures amounted. Before I go any further, remember, this is for research purposes because we're trying to understand Brics and the whole World War III thing. Like where it began, where it's leading, understanding the history of Brics and the China, Russia, Iran alliance. Okay, so back to the normally scheduled program. Um, 30% of the overall transfers and sales of Russian military equipment to China. China is Russia's privileged partner, and the MTC constitutes the backbone of China-Russia strategic partnership, which elevated this whole thing. So, they've definitely been in arms deals for a while. Let's see here. Okay, the first addresses. Whoa, hold on. The first addresses the space program and includes building a joint base on the moon, producing Russian rocket engines in China. What? Okay, hold on. Read. Where this is important, starting right here with the. Okay, so they're in cooperation to build something for a turbofan jet engine for a lightweight fighter jet that has become the primary engine for the Chinese fighter multi-role combat aircraft. In 2011, the Russian military industry complex launched the assembly of GAZ, Tiger, multi-purpose, all-terrain infantry mobile vehicles in China. In August 2015, the Deputy Prime Minister of Russia, something I'm not going to try and even pronounce the name, named the four primary joint projects in the China-Russia MTC. The first addresses the space program and includes building a joint base on the moon, producing Russian rocket engines in China, and joint projects in satellite navigation, remote Earth sensing, producing electronic components of space equipment, human spaceflight, and others. The second project is the joint construction of a large military helicopter, which was signed into an agreement by Xi Jinping and Putin in May of 2015. When Xi was attending, okay. What's so important about this helicopter? Large military. But it doesn't talk about the purpose of it. The third project addresses the two countries' agreement for jointly designing and producing a wide-body aircraft, which was signed into an agreement in 2014. The fourth project is exports to China and maintaining Russia's S-400 anti-aircraft weapon system. Okay, so Russia does have a very good defense system, it looks like. But that still is weird that Russia and China want to build a joint base on the moon. Wow. Okay. Interesting. A moon base, Russia, China. And this is peer reviewed, people. This is not like made up bullshit. That's coming from somewhere. I'm not saying that they have one or that they're doing it right now, but they have plans to build a base on the moon. Okay. If previously Russia was constrained by political factors and its MTC with China, now those factors have disappeared. We are too interlinked with the Chinese. Moreover, China, see, if they're interlinked with the Chinese, then they're communist. Moreover, China currently has much to offer, for example, electronic components, including those for the space program and composite materials, drone technologies, and engines for warships. Russia's tendency to consider China as not only a market, but also as an indispensable MTC partner strengthened after the Ukraine crisis and the deterioration of Russian-Western cooperation. The China-Russia MTC has increasingly become a reciprocal two-way street. And given the current dynamics, even if Russia, Western political relations stabilize at some point, Russia has already passed the point of no return in its MTC with China. This is what I've been trying to tell people. Moreover, according to Russian officials, the Kremlin trusts China and is going to consistently work to enhance bilateral MTC regarding Western being provoked by, for some reason my tongue won't say that, but being provoked by the Westerns, by like America, China's threat. Yeah, so I don't know if Trump can the Democrats really put a nail in the coffin here. As an example from this perspective, the Russian foreign minister Serge something speech about the development of Russia's comprehensive partnership with China on November 22nd, 2014, in which he noted that we can now even talk about the emerging technological alliance between the two countries. Um, so I think when they're noting the Ukraine situation, I think they're hinting at more with, hold on, when was this? 17, hold on. When was this published? Yeah, they were talking about when Russia annexed Crimea. So this isn't having to do with anything present day. Okay. So the development of military personnel exchanges parallel. Okay. Blah blah blah. The official statistics on the number of personnel who are involved in military exchanges are classified, mostly at China's request. Moreover, interviews show that China does not have similar types of military personnel exchanges with any other major power. Okay, so China does not trust the USA and its Western allies in military relations, and they probably shouldn't. But we don't trust them either. Because we all know where it's going, and we've all known since 2001, at least. I've known since 98. So, okay, so let's look at China-Russia joint military exercises. Okay, so it seems like this has been going on since 2007. Also studied, oh wait a minute. In 2014, he became, remarkably, China's defense minister, blah blah, studied in Russia for 6 years and became the primary facilitator of China's purchases of Russian arms. So they've been exchanging to learn their cultures. That's interesting. Well, I mean, I guess that's how, it's all done. You know, uh, transitioning on the next substage of by introducing joint military exercises. Okay, it began in 2004. The two countries announced a decision to conduct the first large-scale joint military exercises, which were named the Peace Mission. The first exercise, the Peace Mission, occurred on 2005. Okay. 8,000 Chinese and 2,000 Russians. The official reason for the new exercises was counterterrorism. However, the large scale and the use of heavy firepower, including long-range bombers, as well as practicing air and naval blockades, demonstrate that the actual goals must have been more broad. Yeah. The peace mission type large-scale joint military exercises became a regular practice and now occur every 1 or 2 years. And now, as we know, they're involving Cuba. Joint C, okay. So in 2012, we got a Joint C exercise. Okay, it was the largest occurring in the post-Ukraine context. The second stage of it was located in the Mediterranean. Okay. Before heading out with Russian ships to the Mediterranean, Chinese military vessels entered the Russian Black Sea port. This military visit was also the first in the history of China-Russia relations and was symbolically connected to Xi Jinping's, I'm going to call him Winnie the Pooh's, attendance at the victory parade in Moscow. China and Russia have one or two large-scale joint military exercises, which include thousands of servicemen and hundreds of military vehicles, aircrafts, helicopters, and naval ships. Okay, look, people. They've been doing this since 2005. Whatever they're trying to tell you that they're not prepared for this, they are fucking prepared. Okay, so according to China's defense ministry, the main task of the exercise is to work out joint planning and combat operations when organizing air missile defenses, operation, and mutual fire support, while both countries emphasize that the drills are not directed against third countries. They occur in the context of China-Russia joint opposition against the American global defense system and seek to strengthen bilateral military interoperability. Around the same time, China and Russia began to conduct another joint exercise, regular exercises for internal security troops, which includes Russia's National Guards and China's police units. The inclusion of these activities increases the number of Chinese-Russia joint military drills to 5 to 6 per year. Wow. Where are we? And should we continue? We're at 17 minutes. How far is this? Okay, we'll get to this part right here, and then I think, yeah, we'll finish this out. Okay. So the problem with assessing advanced levels of military cooperation is the lack of data. One way to address the situation is to more carefully examine the details of the joint military exercises. Although there are no current evidence of either military base exchanges or a common defense policy, the increasing comprehensiveness and regularity of China-Russia military exercises reveals certain elements of episodic military interoperability and an integrated military command. Yes. According to some assessments, blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to read this verbatim. But during the peace mission of 2005, a new system of command codes was introduced to allow for the transmission of orders and communication between Russia and Chinese pilots. In the 2009 one, was characterized by improved coordination of military forces with elements of joint defense simulation. Okay. 2010, 2 Russian MiG-29s and 3 Chinese H-6 jet bombers were merged into one squadron and performed joint tasks to practice joint command codes and interoperability. It is also worth emphasizing that all China-Russia joint tasks during the drills operate in the Russian language. Okay. Common Defense Bases, military drills, MTC. Okay, during the Joint C of 2014, anything All operations were coordinated from a joint command center. And 2015 marked a step forward because it included the joint command of warships in the foreign waters of the Mediterranean Sea. That is quite weird. One of the aims of the exercise was to increase our Navy's ability to jointly address maritime security threats. During the post-Hague Tribunal 2016, which occurred in the South China Sea, the Chinese and Russian navies engaged in a range of activities including search and rescue drills, anti-submarine warfare, and remarkably, joint island seizing missions, which appeared to be a new addition to the joint sea type drills. So since 1991, China and Russia have been coming together to build military strength. All right. Wow. That was some new information that I did not know. And I didn't think that it had actually been going on for that long. So, that was... So tell me what you think about, all that, which we just kind of found out about them militarily. They're definitely been working together for a long time, over 30 years preparing for this. They are more prepared for this than we are. We aren't really doing, that I know of, war simulations to maybe counteract this, even though we got a strong military. This is probably why in the beginning we lose the war, is because we're not quite prepared for them. Anyway, I hope you found this somewhat interesting. But you guys have a good one. And peace out and bye. And this has been a China-Russia Moon production.